Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are unpacking a football match that had absolutely everything, and I mean everything, a human being could possibly want from 90 minutes of sport. We're talking deep history, total heartbreak, sheer controversy, and some absolutely legendary heroics. It was the night an aging genius refused, once again, to let the story end on somebody else's terms.
But before we get into the heroics, consider this absolute paradox for a second. Just think about this. How does a team completely suffocate their opponent, dominating almost every conceivable metric on the pitch, yet find themselves exactly 15 minutes away from a historic, catastrophic elimination? I mean, how did the reigning world champions find themselves staring straight into the abyss? Okay, let's dive into this and map out this thriller-like journey so you know exactly the tension we're going to unpack. We'll be looking at setting the historic stage, shocking the world champions, the 13-minute miracle, the numbers behind the drama, the controversy and emotional aftermath, and finally, rewriting World Cup history.
Starting right off with Section 1, setting the historic stage, champions versus underdogs.
Picture this. We're transporting ourselves to July 2026 inside a totally packed Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The sheer weight of this collision in the round of 16 was palpable. On one side, you've got Argentina, the reigning world champions. They had a perfect 9 points in their group, sure, but they were coming off this grueling battle where they barely survived a 3-2 scare against Cape Verde in extra time. So battle-tested, but definitely vulnerable. And on the other side, Egypt. They were stepping into their first ever World Cup knockout stage match after surviving a ridiculously tense penalty shootout against Australia. Egypt carried this historic, destiny-driven momentum of an underdog nation dreaming of the impossible. To put that massive David and Goliath vibe into perspective, the Opta supercomputer gave Egypt only a 12% chance to win this match in regulation time. On paper, they were massive underdogs. But as we're about to see, paper predictions really don't play football. Which brings us to Section 2, shocking the world champions, a masterclass in defiance.
Let's get right into the action, because those paper predictions, they were immediately torn to shreds by Egypt's fearless, unbelievable start. Just 15 minutes in, the absolute unthinkable happens. Yasser Ibrahim rises above the Argentine defense to hit Egypt into a 1-0 lead. The stadium was totally stunned, but Argentina responded fiercely, winning a penalty just 5 minutes later. Lionel Messi steps up, but no way. He is astonishingly denied by a diving save from Egypt's goalkeeper, Mustafa Schubert. And the margin stayed razor thin. In the 35th minute, Messi hammered a free kick straight into the crossbar.
What's really fascinating here is how much of this defiance came down to literally one guy. Schubert's legendary goalkeeping single-handedly kept the world champions at bay. Not only did he deny Messi from the spot, but he pulled off massive, sprawling saves against Alexis McAllister and Julian Alvarez. Advanced metrics actually show his individual brilliance prevented roughly 1.5 goals that day. That makes him just the 5th goalkeeper in all of World Cup history to save 2 non-shootout penalties in a single tournament. Just an unbelievable performance.
And that defensive masterclass? Well, it paid off again in the second half. In the 67th minute, Mostafa Zico finished off a brilliant counterattack. 2-0 for Egypt. You could practically hear a pen drop in the Argentine sections of the crowd. The reigning champions were pushed to the absolute brink of an unimaginably early exit.
Moving on to Section 3, the 13-minute miracle, pure force of will.
With the clock ticking down, the energy on the pitch completely shifted to this frantic, high-octane pace. With just 11 minutes of normal time left, the miracle began. 79th minute, Christian Romero powerfully heads in a lifeline. Then, 4 minutes later, 83rd minute, Messi completely erases his earlier penalty mess by striking this perfectly timed, brilliant half volley to equalize, 2-2. And then, the final heartbreaking twist for Egypt. In the 93rd minute, deep into stoppage time, Enzo Fernandez rises to head in the winner. 3 goals in 13 frantic minutes to completely rewrite the script.
Let's pause the emotional roller coaster for a second and look at Section 4, the numbers behind the drama. Illusion versus reality. To see how this builds, we really need to look at expected goals, or XG. If you're not super familiar, it's basically a modern football stat that measures the quality of chances created, not just how many random shots a team took. We have to look at this to see the sheer quality of chances Argentina generated compared to what the actual scoreline showed. So, looking at possession, Argentina absolutely suffocated Egypt with 64% of the ball compared to Egypt's 36%. Argentina controlled the territory entirely, but for 75 minutes, they just couldn't reflect that dominance on the scoreboard. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole concept of territory versus clinical finishing. Argentina generated 2.8 expected goals. They were creating enough high-quality chances to score 3 times all along. Egypt, on the other hand, generated just 0.97 expected goals. That means their 2 actual goals were the result of absolutely ruthless efficiency. When you look at the raw metrics, the contrast here is absolutely staggering. Argentina took 19 shots to Egypt's 5. They had 74 entries into the final third compared to Egypt's 26. And get this, they touched the ball in the box 34 times, while Egypt only managed 8. 34 to 8? It proves the underdogs survived almost the entire match purely on defensive discipline, a legendary goalkeeper, and capitalizing on every tiny opening they found.
Let's move into Section 5, Controversy and Emotional Aftermath, Tears and Injustice.
Because the final whistle definitely did not bring an end to the drama. The aftermath of this match was incredibly messy, deeply emotional, and centered heavily on the officiating. The core of the controversy stems from inconsistent video reviews. So, earlier in the second half, Egypt actually had a goal by Zico disallowed after VAR spotted a foul by an Egyptian player in the build-up. However, just seconds before Argentina's 93rd minute winner, Egypt's players felt there was a mirror image foul, a shirt pull on Mohamed Salah inside the box. But this time, the play went unreviewed and the Argentine goal stood. Egypt felt the video review standards were applied completely inconsistently.
Egypt's manager, Hassam Hassan, was absolutely furious. He stated, "We walked the right path and suffered for it. I will not watch any further matches of this World Cup." Hassan felt a profound sense of injustice, and in the heat of the moment, he even received a yellow card for making an official anti-racism gesture toward the officials. Now, on the completely opposite end of the emotional spectrum, Argentina's manager, Lionel Scaloni, was so overcome with relief, he couldn't even initially finish his post-match interview because he was in tears. He later said, "These players are my brothers. To see them play their hearts out no matter the circumstances gives me goosebumps." The sheer dichotomy of human emotion on that pitch after the final whistle was just incredible. So the crucial point is, well, it brings us to Section 6, Rewriting World Cup History, Legends and Legacies. Zooming out beyond the immediate heartbreak and joy, this match utterly rewrote the record books. Look at the staggering volume of historical milestones broken in just 90 minutes. Lionel Messi refused to let his story end, and his personal stats from this game are unprecedented. He scored his 8th goal of the tournament. His assist on the first goal was his 9th career World Cup assist, which officially broke Diego Maradona's all-time record. He extended his streak to scoring in 9 consecutive World Cup matches. He reached 14 total knockout stage goal contributions, breaking a tie with Kylian Mbappe, and he logged 12 touches in the attacking box, his second highest ever in a World Cup match. I mean, he literally personally dragged his team to the quarterfinals. And the team legacies? Just as monumental. Argentina became the first defending champion in World Cup history to erase a 2-goal deficit to win a match. Their resilience was unbreakable. Meanwhile, despite the painful exit, Egypt concluded their most historic, watershed campaign ever, proving to everyone that they are a rising, layered force in the global football landscape. Which leaves us with this final thought. As Egypt builds a highly resilient future and Argentina proves they are mentally unbreakable, what does a match like this tell us about the beautiful, unpredictable chaos of the new, expanded 2018 World Cup? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Definitely keep this match in mind as you watch the rest of the tournament, because the beautiful game has literally never been more thrilling.